Aloha. Thanks for joining us for the weekly COVID POW update as it relates to the pandemic and how the virus is spreading through our community. And I just want to share some information with you that we are in belief of as it relates to COVID POW, as well as through some work that's been done through the subcommittee on strategy and communications and the subcommittee on public health of the House Select Committee on COVID-19 and Economic and Financial Preparedness. We've put together a white paper to discuss the current state of the virus as it relates to the pre-travel test program. First, let me start by sharing Hawaii is doing extremely well. If you look at the current case count per 100,000 of our population, right now we sit at 5.5, which makes us the very best in the nation compared to the next best state, which is in Vermont, which is 16.8 per 100,000. So I think we need to stop and pause and take some pride in how successful that we have been as a community in containing the virus, even while we've introduced the pre-travel test program on October 15th. And so this shows us that there is a way to find what I think is a balance between the public health of our community as well as the economic health of our community. And so part of the white paper that was put together by the two subcommittees really highlighted that by all measures, if you look at it from any vantage point, in fact, the program has been an unqualified success. We've been able to keep people safe, both visitors as well as our residents, while providing activation within the local economy. Let me share a little bit of data with you as it relates to that. The statewide average of new cases per day, it was 96.7 on October 11th, and the number on November 27th, almost 6 weeks later, was 94.6. During that same period, the test positivity rate was 2.8 compared to the latter of 2.0. So we've also seen an improvement in this area. We've also seen the number of hospitalizations go down from 103 patients in the hospital to 60 patients in the hospital. And we've also seen an improvement in the ICU bed occupancy. Further, we've seen improvement in the economic status of our community. We've seen businesses reopen. We see them to start reactivating and serving both visitors and residents alike. And so while there's been a lot of talk about this throughout the community for some time now over the last couple of weeks, most notably when the governor changed the policy to require those who did everything right yet didn't receive their 72-hour pretest by the time they landed in Hawaii, and requiring them to quarantine has really caused a lot of chatter. And while we think that policy change was not necessary based on what we're seeing as a result of the community, now where we're focused on is helping the state and county leadership make fine-tune adjustments to that existing policy to address that issue so that we don't stifle the continued growth of our economy while keeping people safe here in Hawaii. And so our recommendation is pretty simple. It's if ever somebody's done everything right, if in fact they took their 72-hour pre-test and to no fault of their own, they didn't receive the results by the time they land, what they should be allowed to do is get an arrival test at the airport, and further await for their 72-hour pre-test results to come. And if in fact those tests are negative, they should then be released from quarantine. And so we understand that policy changes are necessary as situations evolve, both nationally, globally, and certainly locally. But we also understand that we have to be willing to find that balance between certainly always putting public health first, but also balancing the health of the economy here in Hawaii, because we know how important it is to a sustainable, livable community for the people that we care about most here in our island community. So thanks for listening, and stay tuned for future updates. Aloha.